Okay, so here we go. I am going to continue. I've got a little bit of stuff imported into TTS. I'm having to run it a really messed up way. I'm doing it on my laptop and remote play my laptop. So you're going to see some weird stuff happen as I start playing around with it. So here's a player board. The player board is where, right now, of course, all this is probably going to change. Players get to buy their cards. They'll have their own separate offer, and they'll get to buy their cards. Here are the rounds. I have them denoted with dice for now. So, there's two. The number of the die doesn't tell you what round you're in. It tells you what phase of cards you're using. So for round 1 and 2, we are going to use level 1 cards, then we'll use level 2 cards, and level 3, and so on to level 6 cards. If you look on the player board, these 2 cards on your own personal offer, so there's 1, 2, 3 cards on your personal offer. The 4th slot will open up when we get to the beginning of the 3rd phase or the 3rd section. And in 5, we have this spot opening on the offer as well. This bonus section will be for people who level up their cards. They'll have a bonus card come on offer from the next tier. We can call these tiers, or we can call these levels. We'll figure out what we're going to call it later. But from the next die number for now. Okay, so A, B, C. So this stands for Action 1, Action 2, Action 3, Action 4, and Action 5. All of Action 1 will go off, and then all of Action 2 will go off, and then 3 and 4. So it's like planning. So to give an example, let's say I have these cards on offer on my own personal tableau, and the white player up there will have these cards on offer. I still need to do some fixing of what the cards do and how the scores, and there's a lot to do, but let's say these are the cards on offer. Okay, in the building of your tableau section, the bottom part of the cards you're going to play. So these are the cards you have to buy. They cost $3 to buy them, and to buy them you'll put them in this bottom section. You'll put them in any order you want to. This is basically like a hand, but it's a tableau. This $1 flush means you can get rid of any number of cards and then fill in the empty spaces. So let's say I don't like this card, I put it in the discard. I started off with $10. Let me back up. I started off with $10. I spent $3 and I took this card. Okay, I'm not necessarily, I'll move these in anywhere I need to, because that's not an action. It's just set up your hand for the next section of the game. Okay, I like this card, but I want to see if another card will accompany it. I had a $10 budget. Now I'm down to $6. I'm going to spend $1 to flush, and when I flush, I'm going to let this card go. So we're going to get 2 new cards. Okay, they just happen to be expand cards. So then I could spend, let's say $1, $2, $3. I want this card, and for $3 I could buy another one of these cards just to have it, or I could say, well, I'm only going to have 2 cards this round. The other thing I could do is spend the $3 to buy it, but instead of putting it in my hand, I'll upgrade this card with it, which means, we put a little marker here saying that we've upgraded this card once. I'm going to work on the upgrade system probably today or tomorrow or something, but this is what we're trying to do. Uh-oh, we've got someone who's actually chatting. How are you doing, Tabletop Sauce? LOL. I've never chatted on here, so this is new to me. How? Anyway, now she's gonna embarrass me. She's my partner, and she's gonna embarrass me because I am being watched by somebody I know. Okay. Anyway, so that's how you expand a card. So I spent the 3 to buy the card. Then I put it in my display, expanded the card, and then discarded the card I expanded with. They'll have to be the exact card, or it needs to be an expand card of the same color. And then when we go into the next phase, let's say I decide I want to put this here and this one here, then we'll go straight into, when everybody's done, we go into actions. Then we'll go down this section here. We go A1. All the A1s will go off, and they go off in this order: move, load, expand. So first all the move cards go, then the load cards, then expand, and then we go to A2. If I had a card here, it might be relevant to move, load, expand, and then we go to A3, and then I don't get to act again until A5, load. So that's how that works. So let's say 2 players had a card in this A section. These cards that are on offer at the end of the first part of the round, during the card selection part, will can get discarded if you want to. So let's say I want to move for next round. This expand's not going to do me any good. And let's say I don't want this expand down here, so I discard this card. So both players, at the start of the next round, the empty sections will get filled with new cards. This card that they left will continue from the last round, so that they can later on use it. But anyway, so back to where we're performing the action section. During A1, the first thing that happens, move. If we both had move cards, then we would both go. Not simultaneously, only simultaneously if it doesn't affect the other player, but usually it's going to affect the other player. So first, we'll have a random order, which will be this order on the top is the order of companies. So if there's ever a dispute, which company acts first, second, and third, this is how we break the ties. And as far as acting, if we both have the same card, this is the order. So if we both had a move card, white would move and then orange would move. But in this case, we're in move. There's only one move on the table. They'll do the move. Then we go to load. Nobody has a load. Then we go to expand. I'm the only one with the expand. I'll do the expand action. And then we go to the next section. What I'm currently thinking, let me do a setup from the beginning. And a lot of this is subject to change, and I'm basically documenting it for when I start changing things. I'll know where I was at and what was wrong and what I needed to fix and everything else. So we'll start from the very beginning of setup. Randomize those. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and this doesn't exactly work yet. So we'll randomize the truck order. Oh wait, we don't randomize the truck order this way. Sorry. We'll randomize the player order. We've got the white and the orange player. White goes first. Orange player goes second. Okay, so let me get these cards. Basically, there's 3 cards for possible setup for each company. There's 3 companies to start with. So we'll shuffle each of the companies. Each company has the same 3 cards. Each of the 3 cards is different from each other. So there's a matching set in each color. Oops. So we'll draw 1 card. This will be the red card. This will be the blue card. This will be the purple card. They all happen to be the same card. flip it over. We'll shuffle, randomize it. Okay, so this is a street section, this is a street section, and this is a street section. Let me do the little arrow thing. That's a street section, that's a street section, and that's a street section. Each of the three street sections has 3 buildings on it. So the way this will work is we're dealing with, we'll call this 1. Flip over a card, then we'll do setup. Okay, so this means the black tokens here, red company, and here to show that both of these are active. He'll put a car or a truck in on this section, and the second car will go in the next in number 2. We're calling this the 2 section right here. Okay, so now we go to the 2 section. In the 2 section, flip this over, it's going to be purple. Purple has the same card, so we'll show that these two trucks are active. This one goes here. This one goes here. Currently, there's not a reason for positioning. If there is going to be a reason for positioning, we'll figure that out. We know that we're able to do that later. But right now, any place is good as the next. Flip this one over. This is the blue one. We're in this section. He's got the same. So we'll activate these 2 trucks and show that they're available. And we'll put the truck here and that truck here. Okay, so that's setup. Setup can go. There's other ways I'll show you. We've got this one, which is the 4 truck, which is 1 truck, but it can hold up to 2 goods on it. And then we have this card, which is the 3 truck, but also has a contract, and I'll go over that here after a few. But this is the setup, and in the game we have these 3 stocks available now. And this is the initial turn order. It goes red, purple, blue. Okay. So if any ties or anything happen with the trucks, we got to figure out order. This is the order they break in. I don't know if in the game that's even going to matter. We'll find out later. Okay. So let me answer this real quick. I guess I'm only thinking about my eyes. I'm not thinking about the viewer's eyes. I guess I should zoom in a lot more. I should zoom in more. Okay. These cards are going to be available on offer for all players. But it's going to, before we go into playing the game, during setup, we're going to say white player, or actually we'll do reverse turn order because that's probably more fair. Orange player, do you have a $10 budget before we start the game? Do you want to buy one of these cards? This will be the only time you get to do it, except for in between. I'll figure that out after later on. Well, for right now, this is the only time you get to do it, or we'll do it in between rounds. I'll add a buy stock from the communal pool. Anyway, so let's say I decide, I spend 3, I get one of these cards. It doesn't really matter because they all basically are the same, and I take it here. And white goes and decides, no, I'm not. Okay. So then, randomize the cards. This would be the offer for the white player. And then this is going to be this card we're going to place down here. I'm going to build a section for it. This will be, doesn't count against your hand. You've already spent the $3, so I think it would be unfair to block your hand, or maybe that'll be the equalizer. I don't know. We'll see. for now, we'll just put it on the side. So this is what the orange player sees, and this is what the white player sees. Let's look at the white player. White player decides that they want to concentrate in a color. They don't want to concentrate in red. They don't like red because they see that the other player, they know what the other player has a red card. So they decide, we're going to flush that card. When we do a flush, we don't want that card. This is kind of a gamble. Load's kind of good. So they'll take the load. This will allow them to load a truck to move it down to get to actually start making points. And they decide to flush that card. So they spend 3 on the card. So now that's their card, and they spend 1 to flush. And they flip, flip, flip. Okay. Then they decide, well, they want this card. So they'll do 1, 2, 3, and they'll go ahead and buy stock in the blue company, which is another 3. And they don't want this card in their tableau. Also, what they're going to decide is the order to this. Move is first. So let's say they decide to do load here. Well, the way this works is if you have cars or trucks that are here and you go to move, the next place they move to is on the road to either to deliver or pick up. And this is, I'll describe the pickup, but this is basically picking up these goods that are on the top of these houses or these buildings and taking them to deliver. Okay, so if you do a move, and a move does right now 2 cars, up to 2 cars or 2 boxes. So you can move the 4 truck or the 5 truck or 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 or whatever, but they can't have more than 2 squares available. So let's say they did a move and they moved this. Let me do purple. Let's say somebody else moved purple. If somebody else moves purple and you're in A1 and then you go to A1 to load, well, your card doesn't do anything because they're not in a region to load. They're in the moving area. Okay, so you basically didn't accomplish anything with your load card. I think this one was here, and this is here. So this is why this order matters. In A1, move, then load, then expand. So the load, anything other than move is dangerous to play because the vehicle probably is, well, there's a possibility the vehicle isn't going to be there. So for them to be safe, they put their load in this A2, and they decide to play move next to it, and then they'll just play their stock card. They don't really care. They'll play it there. Stock card is just the first thing that you do in the second section is take note of anyone who has stock cards that are available, and those stock cards allow a player to score when they didn't move, or anytime that vehicle, that color vehicle or that company makes points, they will make points as well. Not as many as the person who's actually doing the moving, but they'll also get to piggyback on those points. And so let's say they do that. Okay, so then we'll go to this player. They have $7, remember, because they bought their stock card. They know that since they bought it, they're going to put it within one of these here in a moment. They don't, well, they're going to go hard in red, because if they score points in red, they'll also score points with the stock card. So they want to flush out these 2 cards. 1, 2, 3. They'll buy this card, and they flushed out with those cards. Okay, so flip. They're looking for a red load card. No red load card came. Okay. That just means they won't get to make extra points for loading. I got to figure all that out. I still don't know. So let's say they decide move is a way to make points. So they buy move, and they decide on these cards they're not interested. I think these will probably be hidden, so you don't know exactly what the other player is doing. So I wouldn't have the information that they're going hard in blue. The only information they had is that since I picked the red card, is stay away from red, or they could have piggybacked in red, whatever they wanted to do. Then I'll discard these two cards because I don't want either one of those cards in the next section of the game. Well, maybe I want the blue card. So we'll have blue, and we'll get to do. We'll put our stock card here. It doesn't really matter where. We know move is first, so we're going to move blue in case he's trying to do anything with blue in section A. And the stock card, we'll just put it there, and we'll try to move red here. Okay. That would be the setup part. You don't have to spend all your money, but it's kind of, you might as well flush cards and try to get a good setup for the next round. Then we go into the next section, which is the actual action section. That's where we go A1, 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 A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. Let's see. Before I go into the actions, let me explain what the actions do currently and what I'm thinking about. Okay, so I said before, these are this is the city, this is the road towards, let's say, the landfill or the place you're going to deliver to, and this is the pickup place. The pickup place, I think I'm going to have players are going to have their own color cubes, and they're going to pick up their own color cubes, and that's going to allow them to take those, basically to go from, like in Dominant Species or in El Grande, where you go from the general supply to the personal supply. So like there's a two-step process. So you've got to take your own cubes from the general supply and take them into your supplies. So if a truck ever comes over here empty, and I'll explain how this works, but basically if a truck comes over here empty, meaning it has space. If it's empty, it's going to go to this pickup section. If it's got cubes in it, because what can happen is a load card can be played, and you'll load up available trucks. So if we're loading up red, this actually goes in the truck. So this is truck 2, that goes to truck 2. Let's say if they had the ability to load 2, they would load that and that. Okay, so then if they did a move, all the vehicles that move that round would go to this section. And they would go in, I guess they would go in player order. Maybe we don't need this truck order. So player order, these 3 on the top are available, and these on the bottom are waiting. So the way that works is, I need to make this 3 long only. So I'll have to remember how these went. So let's say all these vehicles go, and this vehicle is also moved in A1. If it moved in A1 and it's not in one of these spaces that's actually on the road, it's waiting to get to the road. So it's stuck in traffic. So at the end of the round, we'll place all these where they go. So if 2 has a good in it, we'll place it here. If 1 has a good in it, it goes here, but it doesn't, so it goes to pickup. And then this one doesn't have a good in it, it goes to pickup. And then at the end of all that, these will all move and fill in from left to right these sections. So it's going to start a queue. This one is the first one to go in the next action round. It may be A2, or it could be A1 of the following round. So let's say, that happened on A5. This is all done. So in the next A1, this car is already ready to go in A1. So it's just the next action round, it's lined up to go. Okay, so when they're lined up here at the end of the round, they automatically move. They move to the section where they're qualified to go. If they have a piece, they go to delivered. If they don't, they go to pickup. If they don't and they go to pickup, players who have a move card in that color will do a pickup. Now it doesn't matter who did it. If they have if it's A1 and they had let's say they had a purple move, they'll get they'll get as many squares that are open. So in this case, they're one space trucks, so they'll get two. Like, let me get orange ones. They'll get two orange two orange cubes to place later. Okay, then red will make an amount of points for delivering its cube into delivery. Every player who had a red move will make points, and then everybody who had a stock in red will make points. I'm still figuring out the math for all of that. So that's what the move card does. Move makes it go from this section, it automatically goes to this section. The other thing is, we'll say that the move card has 2 action points on a level 1 move, which means that you can move up to 2 boxes worth of cars. So we'll call these level 1 cars, or box 1, box 2 cars. So you can move either the box 2 cars or several box 1 cars. As you upgrade the card, you can move more, which you can divide those boxes however you want to. Also, the vehicle moves as fast as its box number, which I think that also means the same thing. So if you want to move a box 3 car, you have to have 3 boxes, because that's what it's a heavier car. That's what it takes. It takes a move 3. So if you don't have a move 2, you'll never move a move 3 car. You'll have to upgrade the car to get to move 3 to actually move it. But everyone who has a move card will make points when it actually gets delivered, and we'll figure out that part later, because that's going to be a thing. Okay, so that's load. And then I've also explained stock just means if you have a stock available in any A section, when that company makes points, you make points. Let's talk about expand. Expand is to put, first thing you'd want to do is put one of your, if you have cubes of your own, you'll place it. Let's talk about this first part of expand. Let me see, is it that? Yeah, first part of expand shows a little square in a color. Like this is the blue expand. That's showing to make a contract. To make a contract, you'll put one of your color cubes here, or a black cube. If you don't have one of your own, you'll put a black cube, and you'll take this and you'll put it into one of these city blocks. Let me get close up. You can place it where there is a good. Now that says only the blue car can take that good. If it's placed there, when this card fills back up and a good's placed there on top of it, only the blue car can get it. Even if the blue truck, when it's there, it's not required to take it. So in other words, if the blue truck's here, let's see, keep on saying, like I say, I should just say vehicle. If the blue vehicle's there, in this case, the blue truck the blue vehicle wants to pick something up. They could pick this one up and keep this one for later because they have a contract to get that one, but this one was free reign, so they're still eligible to get it. So they're screwing over other companies. But anyway, so by taking the expand action, the player who played expand who's acting can put out a contract, and it's their choice. They play the expand card. They have up to 2 actions. They could do 2 expands in blue. So to do an expand, to do 2 of them would be, okay, I'm going to put a cube here and put this out over there. Or let's say if they had their own cubes, they could go bam, bam, put out these 2, and they could put them on the same or different ones or whatever. But that's how you put out contracts. And that's the first part of this card. The other thing is, is that second one, which is vehicle. This is how you get vehicles. So if I play the expand card, I have up to 2 expands. So one of them I could say was going to be a contract in blue. And then this number 3 truck requires only 1 expand because it has 1 box. So I can put this here, and then now we have I would place out the 3 vehicle. And then I would also place out that contract. So let's say I did that. And that's my 2 expand moves. Okay, the other expand move is to make a city block rain cubes. And a city block will add as many goods as there are rooftops. So in these 3 tiles, at least that now, it might change, I could pick 2 tiles and they would refill. So I could expand and boom, these goods go here and these goods go, and then I refill this one, these goods go here. And again, in the car you can use your own tile, and in this goods thing you could use your own tile. I got to figure out the significance of that, because basically what you're doing is you're taking workers that are part of your group or your family or your orange cubes, you're trying to get them in positions. So it might be that you would have the orange, basically the orange worker becomes employed at that job site. So yeah, it would go in this box. So I just answered my own question. So it would go here as a good to be delivered. Once it gets delivered, this cube would go back to the player, I think, or it'd go to a delivered section. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Yeah, so what else have I not spoken about and that I'm thinking about? I don't know how I'm going to score the sections, and I don't know. I'm thinking these expand cards are too expensive, so I'm going to change them from taking 2 more to make the card do more. I'm going to make it cheaper, so it's only going to be like 1 more time. So in other words, if I had, let me find one so I don't have to clone stuff. Maybe it's a discard. If I want to upgrade this expand card, I buy this expand card, and instead of putting in this other section, I just add a cube. And one of the cubes I could add, of course, is from my player section. And then this goes back. Well, we'll say that already upgrades the card, and when I do it again, it'll upgrade the card again and again. So I'm thinking 1 is enough. It might be too cheap, but we'll see. So I'm going to change all those to 1s, and then also change the base price. Like these are going to be 2. I don't know if I need to do something extra with stock. I think that the game is going to be scored on 2 things: either the amount of workers you like your own cubes that you have that are in places of value, or those are going to be more than victory points. I still have to figure all that, and I need to figure out the rock paper scissors of the game and figure out incentives like there needs to be an incentive to play a load in a color that you don't have. And there needs to be an incentive not to screw it up and have somebody else play the load card and play the move card, and you're screwed because they played move instead of load. But I've got to figure all of that out. But anyway, I think that's where I'm going to stop the video. I was thinking about doing some Knizia type scoring on the various things you could do in the game, but I don't think that's necessarily going to work. I want to simplify it. I would like to get victory points down to money, because nothing shows more greed than money when you're looking at a board game. Like greed, if the scoring is simple, like if you're doing like a victory point track, it feels like a race. But whenever you do money and you're doing things to gather money, you can kind of try to explore greed. And I kind of want to explore that. So there's a lot to think about still. I'll go back and fix the cards and start working on actually playing it. Well, I can kind of show a played around, and maybe that'll show me something. Anyway, so I'll go back to the beginning, or close to the beginning. This was red. Wait, that went there. That was red. Blue still here. Orange isn't in the game. Expand wasn't one of the cards that was picked. These are all going to be in the discard. This one was actually here. This one was here. And this one was here. And it was the other way. It was red, which means red, red, and then purple, which means purple is 1, 2. Now purple, red, then purple is 1, 2, and then blue was like that. Okay, so I think it's something like that. And these didn't have anything. That's all correct. Cars are in the right place. Okay, so we picked our cars. Oops. I haven't figured out what color cubes of everything yet, and there's still a lot to figure out. This is a game at the very beginning. I don't even know if this will be a viable game. This is just something I'm playing with to get back into designing, because I took a small break after Matchstick Girls. Okay. So all that's set up. We picked our cards. A1. A1 first is the first thing we're gonna do is see who has stock. I have red stock. So if red ever scores anything, I will make points. They don't have purple stock. There's no. Oh, they got blue stock. So if blue ever delivers, it makes points. All right. So the first thing we do is move. Blue has a move. So first thing we do is move, and then we go through the players. I think so. White doesn't have a move. Orange has a move. It's a blue move. So the move would be. I have a move of 2. These are both size 1 cars, so I move them both to the road. Okay. Then we go load. There's no load. And then we go expand, and there's no expand. Okay. Then the end of that, these cars don't have a load, so they go to the pickup. Anyone who has a move card now would pick up 2 cubes. And that would only be the orange player. He gets 2 of his own cubes. Okay. Then these cars, I guess this would be the next question, is where do they go from here? I guess it would go back to the board as available cars. They're in the yard. We'll do that for now. We'll probably change that. Okay. So A2. First thing is move. So red has a move. Red doesn't have a load first. So red moves, and he decides to move in this order. Then we go to, wait, I guess it would go, does it go, already thinking of some weird stuff. Let's see. Sarah's asking a question, and well, you'll have two incentives: one to get your cubes, your employees' jobs, or your friends' jobs, or your family jobs, or a combination of all of that. You want to get your cubes jobs, but on the other hand, there's a point section for actually doing the stuff, and you'll make points for doing the stuff. I had to figure out the mix of the two, what cancels the other out, or just how. I'm gonna have to explore scoring and what to do about feelings and stuff, like how to make you want to exploit this one part, but then also have to back off and like, oh yeah, I need to give so and so a job, kind of a thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That could totally change. This is just brainstorming. Oh, let's see. Where am I at? Oh, I need to figure out this thing. So I think it would go A1. Does anybody have a move? Red has, orange has a move. If they both had a move, then we would consult the player order. But there's only one move on the table, and that's going to be red. So red moved, and it went there. Okay, so now we go load. The white player has a load. There's no reason to break turn order. They would load purple. So they load purple. Okay, then we go to expand. There's no expand. And then we move the trucks. So these trucks that are in this section both do not have. Who's got the red move? I've got the red move, so that would give me 2 orange cubes because I have move, and then there's 2 of those. Okay, then we'll go to oh, these trucks go back to the yard. Then we're gonna go load, or A3. You know, first is move. There, I don't have an A3 here, so I'm not going to be affected. So there's only going to be the move that's purple. Purple moves. It goes here. Then we'll go to the end of the round. These both have good, so they go to the delivered section. These get removed, and purple would anybody who has purple stock and the person with the move card makes points. Purple with the person with the move card makes the most points, and then the stock cards would make less than that, depending on what level of stock they have. A4 skip, nobody's got anything. A5 is a stock card, and that would be the end of first round. So not a lot happened, and there's still a lot to look at and think about. This is not by any means a real game yet, and right now it's just getting things to kind of jive together, and I'm trying to tell the story of picking up and delivering the extreme competitiveness of these contractors, but then also showing, you know, the worker level stuff where you're trying to get these workers jobs. So to get these workers jobs, you have to have jobs for them to go and do. So we'll see how that all works out. But I think that's where I'm going to stop. There's a whole lot I got to think about. These are other color companies that'll come in, and there'll be more blocks. So like you can see a one die in the corner. That shows that this is from these two first sections. But when we get to era 2, we'll put out 3 more blocks or 4 more city blocks or whatever, and they'll be different. And then we might have another company come in, which means we have more cards to shuffle in and more actions to think about. We'll see. There might already be too many cards. We'll just see how this is going to work, or maybe you'll have two of one pile of cards and then one from the other section of cards. So I don't know. A lot to think about. But this is a working start. Anyway, I guess I'll stop there, and we'll figure it out later. If you watched, then you messaged. Thanks. Let me see. How do you turn this damn thing off?